promise. Although I've appreciated in the past the announcements. All right, welcome to your reset and restore practice. Let's start on our hands and knees. So take your time coming to the floor and to your hands and knees. And I'll just share that if this feels like a lot on your wrists at any time, you can either roll up your yoga mat if you're using it and put the heels of your hands there, not only for some cushion, but it helps distribute the weight a little bit forward off of the wrist, or a blanket or a towel sort of rolled up under the wrist can be really helpful. And then I feel like I say this most times when we're on our hands and knees, but since I spent probably a whole decade teaching this a different way, I feel like I have to make up for that by repeating this, which is that you can be softer in your hands. For at least a decade, I taught spread your fingers out and really, create a big stable base. But that actually can put a lot of tension in the wrists and elbows and shoulders. I learned that from experience. So fingers a little bit closer together, not necessarily super tight, but just sort of soft, can also be helpful. And even though the fingers aren't super spread out, you can engage them down to, again, distribute the weight a little more into the whole of each hand. And as you get here, just start to move in a way that feels good. It can be a cat and cow, sort of a back and forth type motion, or a side to side. And we'll do both of these together momentarily. Can be a little bit of like more of a rounding type motion. Again, we're going to do all of this together, but just in this first moment, I'd like to encourage you to just move in a way that feels good and that's intuitive, or just directed from a place of feeling. And so with that in mind, don't feel like it has to sort of be a specific thing, or that you have to do anything like evenly on one side or the other. Just take another 30 seconds here, moving in a way that feels good, and just start to breathe with a little more intensity, gentle intensity. So just start to maybe sigh, or you can even blow your breath out as if through a straw. Definitely one of my favorite breathing techniques because it really lengthens out and sort of steadies that exhalation. Nice. All right, good. So sometime soon, bring your big toes together, widen your knees a bit, and just sit back into a child's pose. But maybe consider staying a little up here instead of letting the head dive forward. Maybe keep the ears right between the biceps and really stretch through the fingers. In fact, reach the left hand just as far forward as you can, and then sit the left hip way back and feel a nice side stretch, a stretch in the armpit and then the shoulder perhaps. And then bring the left hand back a bit more to arm's length, and then stretch the right hand away. You might lift your hips just a little to reach, and then plant the hand, and then sit the hips, especially the right hip, way back, and just stretch through the right arm, right shoulder, maybe right waist and hip even. Good. And then bring that arm back. And now just let your hands sort of tent up so that you're just on your fingertips here, as if you're sort of protecting something under. Sometimes I've heard this talked about as spider hands. And from here, just let your head hang. Let the back of your neck stretch. And take a few more breaths. And if your forehead's down, feel free to let it roll a bit side to side, just stretching into the neck, releasing tension by a little bit of dynamic movement. And come back to center sometime soon and just roll on up the spine so that you're back on your hands and knees, and move your knees back in so that they're under the hips, and make sure your ankles and your big toes are also hips width apart. And then just start to move into cat-cow. And I want you to focus here on the pelvis. So the pelvis does a full tuck. You're sort of tucking your tail under, and then by default, the rest of the spine rounds. And then you press your pubic bone back between your legs and tilt the pelvis way forward. And you find sort of a ripple effect of the spine so that the heart comes forward. And maybe you start to look forward, but I'd rather you think more about the chest coming forward than the face, so that you keep the back of the neck long. And so just keep going, tucking and tilting the pelvis and letting the rest of the spine follow as it naturally will. You may have heard me say before that I always think about shaking out a beach towel. Of course, I'll use any excuse to think about the beach, especially in February. But you know, you pick up one end and you lift it, and then you sort of snap it, lift it up and down really quickly, and then the rest of it, the rest of the towel sort of waves, has that ripple effect. And that's what happens here in this movement when you focus on moving the pelvis, tucking and tilting, and then the rest of the spine sort of ripples as a result. Good. Okay, sometime soon, let yourself come back to center, and then just start to side bend, leaning into one side, and then switching, leaning into the other side. And if you want to turn and look like at the left hip while you lean out to the right, you might notice, oh, the hips are leaning to the right too. Try to bring the hips more back to center. That way you get a nice stretch in the side body, in the obliques. The QL, quadratus lumborum, on both sides. Just back and forth, breathing, being gentle but deliberate. Nice job. Okay, come back to center, and then bring your left knee to the center. So like right underneath, like say your pubic bone, and then bring the right knee in tight behind the left knee and separate the ankles. So you've made a bit of a triangle or a tripod for yourself, and just start to move the pelvis around that center point of the knees together. It doesn't matter which direction, because we'll go in both directions, but just pay attention to the way in which your pelvis moves in this circle. And there may be areas, like for me, it's coming into the right side. If I'm thinking of a clock, it's like the 1 and 2 o'clock area that feels especially sticky or tight. And I just work through that gently. Okay, sometime soon, just go the other way. Make sure that your legs are really grounded and that you're using that stability as a place to sort of circle around. And just keep breathing and moving. Good. Okay. Sometime soon, come back to center. Do a cat-cow with the legs crossed in this way, or two. and then undo that, and let's just switch. So the left knee tucks in tightly behind the right knee, which is right underneath of the pubic bone. Spread your feet. So you've got a triangle, and then just start to circle around. And notice, did you start to go around in the same direction, the first direction that you did on the other side? If so, maybe switch it. And if you're not sure, don't worry about it. Just pay attention to how it feels at all points as you circle around, and notice where you might take a bit more care, more ease, cultivating the opposite of what may feel like what you should be doing. I know for me, for many, 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 many years, a tight spot meant push into it a little harder. I know better now. Good, go the other way. And I guess I'll say, since we started our conversation earlier about the cyclical nature of things, I'll retract my I know better and acknowledge that at different points in our lives, this particular example might be sort of a bigger life cycle than, let's say, the monthly moon cycle, but that at different points in our lives, there's different things that we need. And I think it's fair to say that when I was in my 30s, I needed to push myself a little. But now that I'm almost 50, not so much. All right, good. Come on back to center. Uncross. Oh, actually do a cat cow or two before you uncross. Just breathing and moving. Good. Then uncross. And sit back in child's pose, but don't widen the knees. Keep the legs parallel to each other. So it'll be very different. And you may find that it feels a little harder to come down, and that's perfectly okay. Come back up onto the fingertips like spider hands, and then shrug the shoulders to the ears, and then widen. And so the movement, the range of motion here may be small. Shrug and release a couple more times. All right, good. Take your time. Come on back up to center and just come to a seat momentarily. We're actually going to do what we were just doing, but sitting up. And with that sort of big breathing that I started to demonstrate. So inhale and shrug the shoulders up, and then exhale with a big sigh and like drop them like they weigh 1,000 pounds. Do it again. And feel free to shake out your hands, shake out your arms, make it a little bigger. Good, one more time. Nice job. And then hands on shoulders, and just start to sort of windshield wiper or maybe windmill. I don't think either of those descriptions are great. Start to twist. That's what it really is, right? And the upper back. And instead of focusing sort of on going around and around, let your awareness be on bringing each elbow alternately toward the wall behind you, so that you're opening up through the collarbones, you're broadening, and you're really reaching back, 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 back. Good. 10 more seconds. Breathe well. So good. Okay, just let yourself slowly come back to stillness here and just gently release the arms. Feel free to shrug or roll the shoulders. Turn and look over the left shoulder, into center, and over the right shoulder, into center, left, and right. Take your time. One more time to the left side. And last time to the right. Good. Come back to center and open your mouth really wide and stick your tongue way out to sort of stretch in the jaw. It's silly looking, but I can't see any of you. A couple more times. Last time here. Just close your eyes for a moment, sitting right where you are. And just notice the effects of your practice so far. Maybe bring a hand to your heart. Feel your heart beating and let your breathing slow down a bit. And just 30 seconds of appreciation here for this moment where there's nowhere else to be, nothing else to do. Less doing, more just being. Practice for just 10 more seconds, just being here. Good. So good. Okay. Prepare for Yoga Nidra. We are going to do some breathing, but we can do it from a reclined posture. So go ahead and start to settle in to your supported, comfortable, reclined position. Making sure that there's something under your knees to really give your low back and even your hips just a bit of a rest. Support the weight of the legs. Make sure your feet are warm, unless you don't like that, and then don't. And I highly recommend supporting the back of your neck. You can, once you come onto your back, turn the head a bit to the right and left. But then a hand towel rolled up to just support that little curve is lovely for really relaxing the muscles along the sides of the neck and even right around the collarbones that can tend to get so tight. We're actually going to do something for that in just a moment. I recommend having a blanket on top of you to keep you warm, even if you don't necessarily feel like you need it at this point. You will relax more and cool off. I also recommend something on your eyes. Just really release the muscles around the eyes and of the face. So good for relaxation. And then before we do our breathing, let's just take a minute to sort of tap on the chest. And I'll show you here. We're sort of right under the collarbones. I recognize you're laying down and you might not be able to see, but just feel with your fingertips the collarbones and start on the inside, right below that sort of notch in the throat, and just start to tap And, you know, obviously you can feel how much pressure feels good, but then start to move just under the collarbones all the way out to where it gets really soft. And you can alternate side to side or do both at the same time. And if you find a spot that feels a little tender, you can stay there, maybe back off a little in terms of intensity. You can use fingertips all together, or you can even use fists. Whatever feels good. Just loosening this area up. Opening the chest, getting some energy flowing here. All right, sometime soon, just release that. Bring the hands alongside. You can go ahead and pull your blanket up if you moved it. The breathing technique that we're going to do is 4-7-8. You inhale for the count of 4. You hold the breath in for the count of 7, and you exhale for the count of 8. I'll just remind you or share for the first time that the 8 count exhalation really requires slow, steady, complete exhalation. You can, if it's helpful, exhale through the mouth through pursed lips, as if through a straw. I find that very helpful for teaching the body how to lengthen out, steady and lengthen out exhalations. What we tend to do is something more like this. And that sort of puff really doesn't do the job of emptying the lungs to create capacity for inhalation. With that in mind, that 4 count in breath will really be a time of allowing yourself to receive, right? You don't want to just barely inhale and then you'll struggle to exhale. So just how much can you take in, sort of what would be the equivalent of a steady 8 count in 4 counts? Can you just really let yourself take it in? And then finally, the 7 count hold is an ideal opportunity to just get really relaxed in your body. The visual that I almost always use is, can I let myself be like a block of ice melting while I'm holding my breath? Because habitual bracing will come up when you hold your breath. And so if you can use that time to cultivate the opposite of that, to really deeply release, it might feel really subtle or it may feel super profound. But that's a perfect time to work with that, okay? So let's just start by exhaling all the way out. Seal your lips and inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, one more round. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breath in, breath out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in fully and exhale with a deep sigh. Inhale again and exhale, let go even more. The next time you breathe in, tighten and tense your whole body. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Exhale and release, 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 release. One more time. Breathe in, tighten and tense your whole body. Exhale and let go completely. Let go even more. Let go even more. And just start to soften and feel a sense of ease begin to wash over you. Surrender to the wave of heaviness that's permeating the body. Just drop into it. And just do an initial scan of the body and adjust anything at all to make yourself just 5 or 10% more comfortable. Really listen to the body and what it might need right now, and give yourself the gift of that attention to detail. Begin to release movement and really start settling in for your meditation. Start to feel that whole plane of contact between the body and the surface beneath you. And just notice how supported your body is in this moment. Feeling as if the surface beneath you, which is ultimately the earth, is coming up to receive the body, and you can just give your body to the floor, to the earth. You might have that visual of a melting block of ice, where the melting part is getting warmer and softer and just spreading out. That settling in the body, where you can just give yourself to the floor like a melting block of ice. And let's just take a moment to acknowledge this small community of us coming together for this practice to care for ourselves, and whether intentionally or not, to cultivate the inner peace within each of us, the endless supply of inner peace within each of us, which contributes to the peace of the world. And just feel the power of that, power of your contribution. So it's time to set an intention for your practice. And to do this, just ask yourself if there's something in your life that feels out of harmony, that you'd like to bring into harmony, or that you'd like something you'd like clarity on. Or just an attitude or a mindset that you would like to cultivate in your life, to nurture in your life. Really listen And as something comes to you, just trust that and affirm whatever comes to you first with a sentence in the present tense as if it's already a fact or true. I tend to use I am whatever it is that I want to cultivate or I want to experience or feel more of or bring into harmony, or I am harmony. Because the fact is that if you want it, it's already within you. You couldn't desire an experience that wasn't within you already. So just really affirming, I am already what I want to experience more of. It helps us deepen our relationship with that which is within. Whatever your intention, truly feel as if it's in the process of becoming more predominant in your reality. Let that go and bring to mind a place that you feel very calm and safe. Evoke the image of this place. Let all your senses open up to the experience of calm and safety and being nurtured. And whatever is associated with this place, let it really flower. And it may be a person, it may be a physical place. It may be just a sense of what that would feel like using your imagination. But just notice how the body shifts as this calm, nurturing, safe place is evoked. It may be subtle or it may be quite obvious how you start to come into a feeling of deep comfort. And that as you evoke this safe place in your imagination, you can become aware of your own presence arising sort of in the foreground. Observe how, as you immerse yourself into creating this place in your conscious mind, you do that from an unchanging awareness. Know that you can return to this safe place at any time, either during this practice or in daily life. If you haven't already, let the sound of my voice become the sound of your own inner voice as you move your attention through the physical body. So as I name each area of the body, bring your attention there and experience it as it is in this moment. You may feel some sensation or nothing at all, or something in between, a lot of sensation. Either way, your practice is to simply notice what's present. Start by feeling the sensations of the mouth as a whole, and then focus on the lips and the teeth and the gums. Feel the roof of the mouth and the inner cheeks and the tongue. Notice the hinges of the jaw. And you might become aware of some gripping or tensing or bracing there without exerting effort. In fact, exactly the opposite. See if you can soften Bring your awareness to your ears now. Feel the outer ears and the wrinkles and folds, flaps of the skin. And then let your awareness move into the ears. Feel how the ears receive sound, the obvious sounds, perhaps like the sound of my voice. More subtle sounds. Perhaps the noises within the building where you are or out on the street. And notice the ears receiving sounds that are barely perceptible. Really just tune into that listening attention. Is it just the ears that hear, or does the entire body receive the vibration of sound? Feel the nose now, air flowing in and out of the nostrils. Observing any sense of smell that's present. Notice the relative coolness of the in breath and the warmth of the out breath. Feel the eyes now, the eyelids gently resting over the surfaces of the eyes, and the space behind the eyes. Notice any lights or colors. Perhaps the mind is projecting an image, the space around you or something else. Feel how you see. What are the sensations of sight? Is it just the eyes that see, or does the whole body perceive? Feel the forehead now, and the scalp, the skin of the face, and the neck, the back of the neck, the sides of the neck, and the throat. With as little effort as possible here, very gently swallow and feel every sensation as you do. And just feel the presence in the throat. Notice if it feels spacious or if there's any sensation of tension, tightness, perhaps of something said or unsaid. This is an area where you might be able to, with an undoing, feel a softening, spreading out in the throat center. Feel down into the shoulders now. Notice the shoulder blades and the collarbones and the armpits. And just allow yourself to be aware of any sensation of tension present in the shoulders. Maybe just give yourself a moment to really feel it or even explore it. Noticing if you can find the center of tension. Really let yourself feel it and maybe even Welcome it. Can you, as we've done a couple of times already, just give yourself the opportunity to undo what is likely just habitual and familiar gripping or bracing in the body. Can you imagine your shoulder girdle like a block of ice that's sitting on a warm surface and just melting, softening and spreading out? And just notice the changing sensations that you've been observing on a backdrop of unchanging awareness. Who is observing? Feel the upper arms from the armpits down to the elbows. Feel the forearms from the elbows to the wrists. Feel the backs of the hands and the thumbs and fingers and the palms of the hands. And just maintain your awareness here in the hands for a moment and notice the aliveness, that radiant vibration. Allow your awareness to take in both hands and both arms at the same time. And then narrow the spotlight of your attention onto your upper back. Move down the spine. Feel the rib cage, the ribs sort of extending out of the spine, wrapping around the front of the body. Feel the chest and the abdomen. Notice the belly and the sides of the waist and the low back. Feel the pelvis as a whole. Notice the sacrum, the broad bone across the low back, and feel the hip bones coming around. Notice the pubic bone. Feel the glutes and the outer hips and the low belly and the genitals. Feel where the leg bones insert into the hip sockets. Feel down the upper half of the legs to the knees and down the lower half of the legs to the ankles. Feel the tops of the feet and all 10 toes and the soles of the feet. And just let your awareness pause here on both feet and feel any vibration, any energy. Feel both feet and both legs simultaneously. Become aware of the whole back body. Become aware of the whole front body. And just take a moment here to feel the back body as heavy and softening and spreading out even more into the earth. And feel the front of the body as light and expansive and floating up a bit. And feel the whole body now spacious and open, relaxed completely. All parts of the body become one. The sensations of the whole body in your awareness, as if the whole body is just one plane of sensation. And take a moment to really shift into the state of awareness. Become aware of what's in your awareness and acknowledge and observe yourself. That state of stillness that's always present. That unchanging awareness that's the backdrop of all the changing physical sensations. Take your attention now to your breath. Feel the gentle ebb and flow of the breath as you breathe in and out. And just really tune in to the subtle differences between the inhalation and the exhalation. The temperature, the strength, the texture. There's nothing to do here or manage, just awareness. And feel the whole body breathing, the subtle expansion that occurs in the body with each inhalation, and the subtle release that occurs with each exhalation. Receiving the in-breath, releasing the out-breath. Again and again, the rhythm, steady, balanced cycle. Absorbing what you need on the inhalation and releasing on the exhalation what no longer serves you. Really feel each breath as if it's occurring with the entire body. Every single cell in your entire body experiencing the breath. And just connect once more into that witnessing state of awareness. Who is observing the breath? And just let that felt sense of being flood in. Bring to mind now a feeling of peace, or perhaps a feeling of calm, whichever resonates more with you. And perhaps it's present to some extent or fully right now. Or perhaps you use your imagination to experience it. What's the physical sensation of being calm and peaceful? What does it feel like in the body when you're really at ease? Maybe it's present and maybe not. Just feel what's here in this moment. And if it's not here, imagine what you think calm or peace would feel like. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Feel what's present as you sit with calm and peace. And now shift over to its opposite. Bring to mind a feeling of stress or tension, or whatever the opposite of peace and calm is for you. Perhaps it's anger or fear. What is present when peace is not present? Just let that arise for a moment. Really feel it. Let it be seen and heard and felt. Where do you feel that in your body? What's the physical sensation like? The texture, the qualities of stress or tension, anger, fear? Does a contraction occur? Just notice what arises from moment to moment as you feel how you're drawn in. Notice emotions and the sensations of emotions. Let it open up and tell its story. Is it possible even to welcome it? Shift back now to that calm, peaceful feeling. Really let yourself feel it. What does it feel like now? Has it changed? Where do you feel calm and peaceful in the body? Really explore this calm, peaceful feeling in all its fullness. Allowing the experience to play out in your body, in your mind, while you observe from that unchanging awareness. Once more, now go back to stress, tension, anger, fear, whatever is here for you that is what you might experience as the opposite of calm, peace, relaxation. Let it arise again and simply observe. Just acknowledging any changes, just being aware. Now allow yourself to experience both of these opposite qualities at the same time. See if you can allow yourself to hold space for both experiences. Acknowledging that the calm and peace is there, as well as the stress and fear. And just noticing what it feels like for both to be present at the same time. What happens when you feel both calm and peaceful, and at the same time, you feel its opposite? Just watch. Good. So let the spotlight of your awareness really narrow onto the heart. And just allow that sense of spaciousness there, and notice sensation there. Notice if there's any sense of expansion, any tingle in the heart, having welcomed your experience, having felt into the wholeness of being you. And just hold your awareness here and let yourself open up for anything else that wants to be seen or felt or heard right now. There's no need to make anything happen. Just be in a mode of receptivity. And perhaps just like that visual of ice on a warm surface, just feel anything that comes up being allowed to soften and spread out. Welcome it. And notice perhaps if there's any sense of joy, wholeness, balance, for just being alive, being able to feel. Notice how this sense of contentment, the sense of being, sense of life really start to expand into your body from your heart. And just let it start to unfold into a witnessing state of awareness, knowing how, or noticing how any physical sensations may be playing out, how any thoughts may arise, fall away. Just bear witness to your inner experience and the wholeness of your true nature, that is that changing consciousness. And notice how it's right there and really wants to arise to the surface. Let it flood in, let it be your present moment experience. Really allowing that true self, that unchanging consciousness, that pure awareness that is who you really are, just flood in. Feel yourself being in your life, your daily life, and living from this place of stillness, of unchanging awareness. Of unlimited peace and equanimity, balance, so that all thoughts and words and actions are a reflection of this true nature. And just let this intention to live as your most authentic, true self begins to draw you back into a more awakened state in this moment, back into life. And as you do, come back to the true statement, that true and present statement you made earlier as your intention, your I am, whatever it is you want to experience more of. As you start to feel your awareness come back to the surface of your experience, come back with that mantra and just feel it spreading out, feel it filling out even more in your experience. Repeating it gently but deliberately, with calm determination. So good. Release that for now and take a slow, soft breath in and a long, slow breath out. And begin to wiggle the toes and fingers very gently. And start to bring a little bit of very slow, gentle movement into the body. Perhaps you roll your head a bit from side to side. Maybe you start to stretch the arms and legs away from center. As we begin to move toward the end of our time together, please know as always that you can choose to stay right where you are. Or if you'd prefer to roll to one side of the body, you can start to make your way there now, slowly, deliberately. gently. If you do roll to one side and you intend to stay reclined on your side for the duration of our time together, please be sure to support your head with a pillow or a blanket or even your bottom arm. And then, of course, if you'd rather make your way to a seated posture, of course, you may do that as well. Either way, be very gentle and slow and intentional with your movements. And before we move into our offering of loving kindness, I'll invite you to just settle back into stillness. And maybe you have barely moved, and so that's not much of an issue, but settle back into that mental stillness that allows your unchanging awareness to come back fully. That expansive state of calm, that limitless inner peace. That every single one of us has. Just let yourself be there, be with that again, here, as a practice, cultivating a deeper connection, cultivating a keener ability to exist from that place. So good. Okay. It's time for loving kindness. If you'd like to bring your palms together, or your hands to your heart or to your belly, or something different, or none of the above, please do so. I'll offer a few statements of loving kindness to you and use the word you. And I encourage you to repeat each of these statements to yourself, changing the word you to I, so that you're truly offering yourself loving kindness as well. May you be safe and healthy. May you have a calm, clear mind. May you have an open, loving heart. May you be at peace. May all beings on earth be at peace.